Well, I appreciate that because that would have been the only time in the game I really. I always thought like I knew what was going on, but yeah, I don't know about clarity, so to speak. I guess, but I I was just trying to decipher the fact that what had happened to me and what kind of maybe what was about to happen throughout the game. So I don't know. I guess I'm not answering the exact question correctly. I guess.
Well, no, there's no right or wrong answer. It's just like I felt like some people were still sort of filtering through those feelings, and you were like, you know what, I got swindled. It sucks.
Yeah.
And I think you said something that was the most poignant thing I've ever heard in my 5 years of hosting the Jury Roundtable, which is, I said everybody lies, and that was kind of my point, which is like, listen, you can't judge people for lying because everyone lies. And you said, yeah, but there's a line. And I said, I thought it was going to be the end of the conversation. I thought I was going to hit you with this big line. I go, yeah, but who determines that line? Meaning nobody. And you said, we do.
Yeah, and because
And you did.
Yeah, we did. We did absolutely determined what. And I mean, and you're right. There's everybody does lie, and it's hypocritical to think that everybody doesn't lie. And it's almost impossible not to lie inside there because there are points where you are absolutely not allowed to tell what you're trying to do, especially in a head of household situation. So yeah, lying absolutely is a part of that game. But it's this is even hypocritical, but it's the degree of a lie, I guess, that kind of pulls at your heartstrings.
You guys really, you were really just verbose about how malicious Paul was. And that was what sort of turned you off at the end, because I think we can agree that he played a long game, obviously not the best game because he didn't have great jury management, but some things he did turned you guys off.
Well, the thing that turned me off the most about Paul, because I'm telling you, I was like I was a huge fan of Paul. Like, I mean, as a human. I mean, I didn't really know him. I didn't watch that much of the season. I knew he was on season 18. You know what I mean? And I watched him do the Dizzy Dog thing, but I didn't really know that much about the guy as a person. But I actually got to like him as a person inside the house. What turned me off about Paul was the fact of the degree of lies that he would go through. Like, he wouldn't just tell you a lie. He would tell you a lie, and then he'd be like, and then bring your friends and your family along too, and then like not show up. So not only did it screw up your night, it screwed up your whole family's night type deal. And I just never understood. Well, you could have just lied to me, but why did you have to lie to everybody else, right? So that was what really turned me off about Paul. But I mean, he's a good dude, and he was playing the game, and he did play a heck of a game, but got to watch that jury.
He didn't have good jury management. This is the loudest plane ever. Can we hear that? Is that like a problem? I'm assuming that's a major problem. It's bad. Marcus says we're okay. All right. Marcus said we're good. So were you pleased? You were obviously pleased with the way things shook out tonight.
I mean, I wasn't really pleased. You know what I mean? Because it was a tough decision, honestly. I mean, especially I even liked Paul's speech tonight because he broke down the things that he did, but there was holes in it, like he's like, I won the HOH and I won vetoes. Well, you did win the vetoes, but sometimes the vetoes were almost staged in your favor. So, but that's still him playing the game, that stuff to iron out. So I was like, he really did do a lot, and you can't take that from him. But it still comes down to how people value the principles of their idea of the game. And to me, my idea of the game is, you just took the lion too far.
And then you had an unlikely pairing with Alex. Like, that was kind of shocking. People didn't really see that coming, and as it sort of grew, it was a pretty powerful relationship. When you left, though, you were hurt because you thought she stabbed you in the back.
I absolutely did, and Alex, it was funny. She wanted to pair with me because I was tall, and she thought we could handle competition.
You're like an average person, you and her together.
Yeah, yeah. And so, but I wanted to pair with her because she was like a super fan and like understood the show. And I'm like, I don't really know anything about it, and I don't know what is about to happen, but I could use her brain. And we can use both of our athletic ability and just make a fierce competitive team. But I actually got to where I really enjoyed Alex. She's a serious competitor on all aspects, all the way around, and it was kind of awesome. I was really glad to have her.
Well, no one could fault you for that because it could have easily been Paul and then you and Alex in the finale. So, no one. He clearly was, just sort of targeting showmances and dragging one along. Not that Christmas and Paul were together, but it's nothing wrong with that strategy because it could have gone either way with just the littlest bit of luck.
Right, and it's not such a thing as it's maybe not showmances because Alex and I had like a no-mance. Paul and Paul, he said from the beginning he wasn't going to get into a showmance or really a direct final two with anybody. He was more of a fan of the threesome type because he's like, then we can, and I bought into that big time because me and Alex were a no-mance. We were just partners, going to the end together, and and Paul kind of latched onto that.
He hopped in at the last moment there.
Yeah, and he did, and it took me a little while to really kind of trust him, but then when I did, I was all in, just 100% all in.
Well, it's not just you. He was clearly very good at that.
Yeah.
What's next for you, Jason? Where do we see things going? What's going on with the career? You have a baby coming soon.
Yeah. You know what? I felt like I was in a really good place in my life prior to the show.
And it ruined it. No, just kidding.
It might have. I don't know. I hope not. But I've been trying really hard to get my rodeo clown thing going and the auction thing going, and those were both taken off, and they were solid. And so I'm really looking forward to hopefully the stage and the exposure of the show just keeps those.
I think you're in a prime position to use this as a springboard, and I wouldn't be surprised at all. How can people follow you on social media?
Whistlenut and Oli. That's Whistlenut and Oli.
You're not going to confuse that because there's only one of those.
That's right. There's only one Whistlenut and Oli. Oli's the bull. I'm Whistlenut. That's my rodeo clown name, stage name, if you have you. Or on WagnerDentAuctions.com for auctioneering. And Facebook, I have Facebook, and I probably have Instagram and all the things now because my buddies probably hooked me up with that while I was in the house.
We don't know how to find him, but you can definitely find him. Jason, it has been a pleasure.
Yeah, same.
Thank you so much for your time. The fans loved you. You're one of the in the top 3 for America's favorite player. And
do we know how that shook out, by the way? Do we know how that shook out?
Very fair question.
Do we have exact votes? Girls.
She looks uncomfortable. It must have been. I'm sure it was close. I'm sure it was close.
They're like, well, your name was there. You got 2 votes, but that's fair enough. Okay, good deal. All right, well, thanks.
Jason, the pleasure's all mine. Thanks so much, buddy. Have a great evening.
You too. Take care.